Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel. There has been so much content today on GBFC, so if you want to see everything that we've done, a link to all of the videos today is in the description. Every video has something completely different, and this one is no different to that. We are going to go through 5 more managers who Julian Nagelsmann is my number one choice. So there are 5 more that I want to go through today that Chelsea have been linked with, that are all good managers in their own way, but I want to give my thoughts on these 5. There still may be more, and as news drops as to who the new Chelsea manager is going to be, if there are names that keep cropping up that I've not spoken about yet, you guessed it, I'm going to do it for you. It is Liverpool tomorrow, so there will be a preview as probably the next video tomorrow morning, and then we'll update on everything that is going on. So we're going to talk Ruben Amorim, Luis Enrique, Hansi Flick, Mauricio Pochettino, and Zinedine Zidane. 5 feasible managerial options for Chelsea, but which one of them, if any, are better than Julian Nagelsmann? Let me know your preferences, as always with these kind of videos, in the comments down below. I think the biggest difference between Nagelsmann and all of the managers that we're going to speak about in this video is that Nagelsmann, you can clearly see, is a manager who would fit a longer term project with the flexibility of the way that Nagelsmann can manage with varied formations. It would probably go something similar to what we saw under Graham Potter, but you just hope that the severity of the amount of losses compared to the amount of wins wouldn't be as bad as what we saw from Graham Potter, where he lost more Premier League matches than he actually won. That is why the job became untenable for him. So let's begin with Ruben Amorim, who, if we're going with what Fabrizio Romano has said, it is at the moment the 2 frontrunners, Nagelsmann and Amorim, are the 2 favourites within the Chelsea hierarchy already. Ruben Amorim is still a very young coach. He was the manager of Braga, won 10 out of 13 matches, was seen as such an attractive prospect by Sporting Lisbon that I think it was in 2020 he took over at Sporting Lisbon. They paid a lot of money to secure his services, and then that following season they only lost 1 game. Now you look at Sporting Lisbon, one of the favourites to win the Europa League after knocking out Arsenal and playing some wonderful football. Ruben Amorim likes to use a 3-4-3, so if he was to come in now, between now and the end of the season, then Chelsea have been playing better recently with 3 at the back. It gets to see the best out of Ben Chilwell and Reece James. So in terms of an immediate appointment, Ruben Amorim would come in and probably do a decent job of getting a tune out of the players between now and the end of the season. He's got a very distinctive style of football, which likes to see 2 pivots in front of those 3 at the back who like to drop deep and then play the passes forward. The centre-backs get the ball, give it to the pivots, they turn and look to go forward with the wing-backs, then overlapping and going with the attack. Amorim, I think, would be a very interesting one. What we see from him is it's a mixture of like a structured, if we're talking about football manager terms here, it is structured, but it's also fluid. So when he's defending, it's a 5-2-3, and when he's attacking, there's overloads with 5 going forward with the wing-backs. Ruben Amorim is one to watch. Will he want to leave Sporting Lisbon now? I think if this one was to happen, he probably wouldn't leave now. I think there's still unfinished business for him at Sporting Lisbon, and I think with the Europa League still there to be won, that would be the perfect way for him to sign out. So between now and the end of the season, I don't see Amorim wanting to join, but a very exciting manager nonetheless. Let's move into Hansi Flick, who is currently the German national coach. 4-2-3-1 is what we see with Hansi Flick right now with the Germany national team. It's not going so well for Germany at this moment in time. I don't know if it's because maybe the squad just isn't quite that great. Maybe it's got something to do with a hangover of the World Cup and it's difficult to get motivated again. Germany are obviously the hosts, so they will be there regardless, but they're still playing. And it isn't quite as entertaining and as fluid as you would like. However, Hansi Flick at Bayern Munich was absolutely breathtaking. In terms of the intensity, he's even more intense than Julian Nagelsmann with that Bayern Munich team. The press It was a gegenpress. It's heavy. And with this Chelsea team, you just wonder if we've got the attackers right now at the club who are willing to do that kind of work. Is Mykhailo Mudryk the kind of player who is willing to put that much pressure on? And I think with Flick, if he was to come in, I don't see it happening because Germany have got the Euros in 2024. It's his home country. He's the manager. Germany are going to think they've got a chance to win it because they're the hosts. I think he's going to stay. And I think it could be difficult. We also see Hansi Flick go with a 4-3-3 with Bayern. And I think it would work at Chelsea. I think it would be exciting. But again, Nagelsmann, to bring it back to that other video we posted earlier, I think Nagelsmann is more of the project style manager that Chelsea are looking for. Moving in to another manager without a club, Mauricio Pochettino. For whatever reason it is, right, I just cannot get excited about a manager who managed at Tottenham Hotspur, still won them nothing, and then went to PSG, had one job, which was to win the Champions League, and he still couldn't do that. Mauricio Pochettino, is he all that? Am I missing something here about Pochettino? And is it just because I can't stand Tottenham Hotspur? And it's one thing seeing our sloppy seconds go to Spurs and fail, but do I want Tottenham sloppy seconds? I don't really think I do, to be honest. And I think there's more likelihood of Pochettino going back to Tottenham. But if I was Mauricio Pochettino, I would want the Chelsea job over a return to Spurs any day of the week. Maybe if Poch was to come to Chelsea, it could give us an easier way towards Harry Kane, particularly if Spurs are going to be sold by Daniel Levy this summer. So there is a positive to it, and Poch has got Spurs playing good football at times, PSG obviously, but then when we're looking at that job he did at PSG, there's no competition there whatsoever with the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Neymar. Like, you can't fail at Paris Saint-Germain, it's impossible. Poch has never excited me. I've never wanted him at Chelsea, and that doesn't change now. We move into Zinedine Zidane before I talk about my favourite, and I'm going to give you the reasons why I would love to see Luis Enrique at Chelsea. What I love, first of all, about Zinedine Zidane and also Enrique would be my probable two favourites here. Ruben Amorim, I think, is a more exciting coach, and I think it would be a lot easier to lock him in for a project than, say, a Zidane or an Enrique. But when you look at that Zinedine Zidane team that won 3 Champions Leagues in a row with Real Madrid, the one consistent with Zinedine Zidane was that it was always substance over style. But when you've got superstars in your team, it was easy for Zidane to be able to focus on the substance because the style came naturally with the star players that they had at the club. When I look at this Chelsea team, there is star quality all over that pitch. When you look at the defenders, Wesley Fofana, I think, is a star boy. Reece James, Ben Chilwell, stars. Enzo Fernandez, world-class, elite-level midfielder. And then, moving forward, the brilliance on the ball of Joao Felix. To be able to get the best out of a player like Kai Havertz. Potentially, a master of the game like Zinedine Zidane, with the playing career he's had, the success he's had. You can also imagine Mason Mount under Zinedine Zidane would absolutely cook. And I think what Zidane has is an ability as a coach to be able to pinpoint the stars in a team and then make it about the stars. And with a Chelsea squad as talented as this one, when you've got someone like Zidane, especially with the midfield, if we were to go with a 3, which we saw in the early phases of Zidane at Real Madrid, you could have Enzo as a deep line playmaker, Mount further forward as an advanced playmaker, and the same way that Casemiro was the man to sit and hold in front of that defence for Real Madrid, sign a number 6. And that goes exactly with the plan that we've heard that Chelsea are looking to do this summer. Sign a defensive midfielder, free up Enzo Fernandez, and once again, allow Mason Mount to be present and cook in this Chelsea team. I think with Zidane, the issue could well be that is he here for the duration that Todd Boehly and the Chelsea board want a manager to be here for? At Real Madrid, he resigned twice. Which means that's Real Madrid, that's his club. At Chelsea, I think the moment things get tough, which in the Premier League, competing against Pep Guardiola, now Mikel Arteta, who's becoming elite, just going to say it right now, for Arsenal. Is Zidane going to cope if after a year he's not right up there at the top? I do not think he will. Similarly to my favourite of all of these managers, and I'm going to tell you why now. Luis Enrique is an incredibly exciting manager. When we look back at what he did at Barcelona, he got to 100 wins faster than Pep Guardiola, scored more goals in that time than Pep Guardiola, and the problem is, immediately once again, similar to that of Zidane, is he a manager willing to accept a project? Luis Enrique is a bit of a lone wolf. He likes to do things his own way. He's very structured, but again, within that structure, there's fluidity with the way that he plays. It's a 4-3-3. And once more, he's been used to playing with one of the best Barcelona teams of all time. So even though with the Spanish national team, he didn't really have the midfielders to do what he did at Barcelona. The most exciting thing about the way that Enrique teams play, and I'm talking specifically here about that Barcelona team, vertical passing. If you watched the video I did earlier talking about Julian Nagelsmann, Nagelsmann is exciting because you can see that he'd be able to optimise an Enzo Fernandez. You see a clear pathway into the first team with the brilliance of the progressive forward passing, vertical passing of players like Levi Colwill. You would see Wesley Fofana, who makes progressive runs up the field. You'd see him develop under a manager like Nagelsmann. With Zidane, 4 at the back, Fofana would probably be one of those centre-back too. And Zidane and Enrique, I just wonder if both of them, I think Zidane is more flexible because of what we saw at Real Madrid. He was more flexible over the years when he had to deal with injury to Gareth Bale. You then saw kind of Isco go as that number 10 at the top of a diamond. I think Zidane could be more flexible, Enrique less so. But with both of them, the reason I find them such a risk is because I just don't think they'd be willing to stick it out if they can't win. Both are serial winners, and the Premier League is a totally different kettle of fish. When you got managers coming from Germany, if you're managing Bayern Munich, you're going to win. If you're managing Barcelona or Real Madrid in Spain, you are going to win. In England, for Chelsea, it is going to be a battle and a half to compete with Manchester City. Liverpool are struggling this year under Klopp. But as soon as Liverpool disappear from the reckoning, Arsenal and Arteta have turned up now. You got Newcastle currently in 3rd place. You've got Eric Ten Hag, who, if he's got Casemiro in the team, United look good. As soon as Casemiro's out of the team, they're awful. But Chelsea are competing here with powerhouses. Chelsea are competing here with clubs who are either significantly further down that track of being ready-made to compete and win trophies, or they're competing with new giants. Newcastle, Man United coming back to their old ways. All of the managers that we've mentioned here today are excellent managers who, in certain ways, could work here at Chelsea. And the reason I think it wouldn't be a bad call to employ a Zidane, an Amorim, an Enrique, is because, I've said this before and I'll say it again, this whole idea of Chelsea changing everything right now, stop hiring and firing managers, when you've got a team with the qualities that we have in this squad, maybe for a while, instead of just changing everything immediately in this Bowley era, maybe we do just hire a manager who can get this squad of players playing properly. Let's see what we can do with a proper tactical manager who can come in and either structure things like a Zidane or get us playing some exciting football with brilliant transition as an Amorim. Or maybe the damn right amount of goals that we'd score under Luis Enrique. Those are the 3 that excite me the most here. Flick, don't think it's possible. Pochettino, I'm not interested. I'm just not. But Chelsea apparently are. Let's see where this one goes. It's only been 24 hours since the sacking of Graham Potter. We've heard lots of names. I've gone through the majority of the managers in the videos we've done here on GBFC. I would love to hear your thoughts on who you want in the comments down below. Maybe if we beat Liverpool 5-0 tomorrow, it's going to be Bruno on a permanent. Maybe John Terry, maybe Mourinho. Maybe there's another video coming your way. Come on, you Blues.